this evening. Commissioner Mr. Richard Boyce will be addressing Barbados on the security plan, the updated security plan for Crop Over 2025. And joining him this evening will be Deputy Commissioners of Police, Mr. Erwin Boyce and Mr. Ian Branch. Also, Assistant Commissioners of Police, Mr. John Boyce, Mr. Jefferson Clark, and Ms. Sonia Boyce. Commissioner Boyce will entertain questions on completion of his address to you. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Commissioner of Police, Mr. Richard Boyce.
Thank you, Inspector Brackett, and a wonderful evening to all assembled, members of the media, and members of the senior command team, along with my staff officer, Ms. Brewster. Ladies and gentlemen, it's this time of the year when we put on Barbados' best festival, that is Crop Over. And every time around this time we engage the media and by extension members of the public, letting them know exactly how we are going to police this festivity. So this afternoon I want to give the media and the country an idea of what we are doing in terms of policing this festival Crop Over. The Barbados Police Service has been and is still in a state of readiness to police the various Crop Over events which have been slated to take place during the season. As persons may have been aware, the festival was in action for months, from the month of May 2025. We in the police service have been working in partnership with the Barbados Defense Force to provide a level of policing not only at the event location but throughout the various parishes of our country to make the festival as incident-free as possible, especially as it relates to the criminal activities and other antisocial behaviors. We, as the primary law enforcement agencies, have undertaken the necessary measures that will realize our stated objectives, that is, making the country safe and secure. We are intimately aware of the concerns which have been raised by members of the public, and we have taken additional security measures to address those issues. Issues such as the indiscriminate use of firearms in public spaces, the likelihood of becoming victims of robbery, and the indiscriminate use of motorcycles on our roads by performing life-threatening acts such as wheelies and other stunts. There's also that inclination to trespass on commercial properties around this time and steal various items. Our security plan will also seek to engage the buy-in of the general public in playing a role in making the festival safe. We will expect that members of the public report any criminal or other suspicious activities to us. We ask that members of the public exercise their civil duties in helping to rid our communities of all antisocial behaviors during our festivities and also beyond that period. The security services, police, and the Barbados Defense Force will adopt a zero-tolerance approach to all behaviors that can harm the security and posture of our landscape and coastal areas. We are very mindful of the successes which we have made in the fight against a number of criminal elements, and we are determined to maintain a high level of intensity in our efforts to prevent any loss in the achievements which we have made in the fight against the criminal actors. We have been successful in taking a number of high-powered illegal weapons out of the hands of the criminal community. Incidentally, only last Saturday, the 26th of July, we were able to seize 2 illegal high-powered weapons and a handgun, along with 69 rounds of ammunition out of the hands of the criminal element. During this period, we in the security services will be engaged in targeted operations, which will be driven by a high level of intelligence against those persons who are bent on executing criminal acts. The various mass probe activities such as Holiday Morning and Grand Kaduna will be heavily policed with the assistance of private security agencies. We will be employing various pieces of technology to assist us in policing these events. The aspect of traffic management will also be given special attention. The practice of indiscriminately parking vehicles along the highway will be addressed by the patrol officers who are, and where obstructions are caused on our roads, our records will be utilized in removing those vehicles. An early warning is being given to those persons who are inclined to consume high levels of alcohol and drive their vehicles while being under the influence of that substance. My advice to those persons is to desist from such behaviors and resort to having someone who was not drinking alcohol to drive those vehicles. From my observation, I have noticed that there will be a large number of satellite activities outside the state-sponsored events. We in the police service and the Barbados Defense Force are very mindful of these, of the need to have an absence of violence at these satellite activities. And as a consequence, we will pay the necessary attention to the locations which are known to us. All of the events surrounding the prop over activities have been incident-free thus far. And we in the security agencies expect that we are on track to maintain that behavior along with the combined support of the law-abiding citizens of the country, not forgetting the many visitors who will be visiting our shores to enjoy the major events on the prop over calendar. Let us host our friends from our sister islands and internationally in an atmosphere of peace and harmony throughout this lovely island called Barbados. That is my opening remarks, members of the media in the country, and I will entertain any questions from the members present.
You mentioned two weapons, high-powered and gun. Given an up-to-date on the weapons you've seen so far?
Yes, so far we've been able to seize .41 weapons this year and 35 when you compare to last year. So we are above last year's seizure. In terms of ammunition, this year we seized 479 rounds of ammunition and 431 last year. So in both categories we are above last year's figure.
Can you give us an idea of what categories of weapons you're looking at?
Well, the high-powered weapons are what we call AR-15, which a weapon which is more suited to battlefields, military weapons or battlefield weapons. That is the type that we come across, which is a grave concern to us. And also the handguns, which people call 9mm weapon, automatic weapons. But whether rifle or small weapons, they are still deadly weapons, so we still have to be mindful of that and make sure that we take the necessary measures to act against those persons who are in possession of these weapons. That is continuing to do our operations and getting these weapons out of the country.
Would you say that they are more high-powered than the other guns that you're finding?
Well, the evidence thus far tells us that there are more handguns than high-power weapons.
Sean Green, Nation Publishing. In your exercise for Corporal, could you explain what role the Special Constable is playing in this exercise?
Special constable there, I must say that they have full powers of arrest as regular police officers. So they will work along with regular police officers, mature police officers who have been in service for some time. So they will be guided along the way, seeing that they will be new to what is happening. We will not put them on their own to engage with members of the public when they have been fully trained up and exposed to aspects of policing, that we will put them up there to engage members of the public.
Could you explain the difference between like a special constable and a constable? Or would it be the same?
A constable will not have as the powers which will be entrusted on a special constable. They do, as I mentioned before, the special constable has the same amount of powers as a regular police officer, but not the other constable.
Have you been getting a lot of requests from private promoters or entertainment entrepreneurs for police assistance in securing their events?
Yes, we have been in discussion with the private promoters, but they are fully aware that our first client is the state-sponsored events. And we have been pushing that for a while now, and they fully understand. And because of that, they engage private security to assist them in managing and policing their private events. But we are still on board with them because we have our patrols out there, and we will show our presence, interact with persons at these private events, and make sure that everything is going well.
Tell me about your StarCom network. Have you been notified of any emerging security threats that the public should be aware of for the Corporal Festival?
The only threats that we are aware of is same firearms, because those are the things, the regular threats that we face on a daily basis. There's nothing elevated, such as terrorism or those types of acts that we know that have come to our attention. But nevertheless, we still do our checks and make sure that there's nothing on tours in terms of elevated acts of terrorism or some other nefarious event that would come to affect us. But we are all on the all fours when it comes to those things. We have done our risk assessment, and that is what our risk assessment is telling us. Okay. I want to thank the media for coming. It's always good to have you on board with us around this time. Mr. Joseph is a well-known person in this field, so he will let you know it is something that we do very, very timely when it comes to crop over. So once again, thanks everyone.